Hello, everybody. Welcome to MathBound, where math doesn't have to be a problem. Today, I just wanted to go ahead and talk to you guys a little bit about PEMDAS. Mainly, why I am not a fan of PEMDAS. I really am not a fan of PEMDAS. Most people have gone through their schooling and learn about this acronym if they've taken an algebra class. PEMDAS. What does it mean? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Right? Many people know that acronym. Many people know what it stands for: parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. However, so many people do not understand what the purpose of the operations really are. Many people don't know the meaning of them. People don't know why we use parentheses, why we use exponents, what's the relationship between multiplication and division. What about the relationship between addition and subtraction? And when we don't have that understanding, that leads to a lot of confusion. I'm sure you've seen those memes out there on Facebook, on Twitter, and social media where they have an expression that you are supposed to evaluate. However, when you look at the comments that people are leaving, some people end up with the one answer and some people end up with another answer, and then other people still end up with a third answer. The cool thing about math is that really it's accurate. As long as you don't violate any of the basic rules, you're going to end up with an accurate result. When I see those memes and the type of responses that people leave, it just makes me wonder, what were they learning in class, right? But as I've been looking at some of my calculus students, I've been looking at some of their foundations, and I've noticed that sometimes they don't even know how to do certain basic operations. A lot of them, they don't know what the meaning behind certain rules are. Why is it that we can't divide by zero? What would it look like if we were to divide by zero? What does it mean to have an exponent at the top? You know, that little number in the top right corner of your x, for instance. What does that mean? What if we have a binomial raised to a second or third power? What does that mean? You have to go with the basics. Like, literally, you gotta understand what the distributive property is, how it works, how to perform distributions. You got to understand what the commutative property is. How does it work? How do you apply it to some expressions? The associative property. When are you allowed to use the associative property to group things together? What about exponents? How do I distribute that exponent? How do I get rid of that exponent? Should I get rid of the exponent first, or do I have to do what's inside of the parenthesis first? When you understand these rules, things become much simpler. I mean, let's take a look at multiplication by 2 and dividing by 2. What's the difference, or what's the relationship between the two? Well, dividing by 2 is really just the same as multiplying by 1/2. You're multiplying by the reciprocal of 2 in this case. What should you do first? Should you multiply? Should you divide? Well, as long as you know how you're supposed to be grouping or associating the terms, then you're going to be fine. The thing about PEMDAS and some evaluations that you see often in social media is just that they're very ambiguous. The problem is ambiguous so that you make mistakes on purpose. And when you're just following the PEMDAS, you might really end up getting more confused or just getting the wrong answer. I had one of my students try to simplify an expression. 1 minus 7x plus 8x. How do you do it? When you're using PEMDAS, it says, hey, you're supposed to add before you subtract. So what do you think she did? She added before she subtracted. And she ended up with 1 minus 15. But is that really the answer? What should have been the answer to that? Well, you have to understand what the meaning of that subtraction is. Subtracting that 7x is the same thing as adding negative 7x. And when you're adding negative 7x with 8x, some of those x's are going to just cancel each other. You're going to end up with positive x. you're gonna end up at the very end, you're gonna end up with 1 plus x instead of 1 minus 15x. So when I take a look at PEMDAS and when I take a look at students who memorize the acronym blindly without really knowing what it means to do some of those operations, it really is just weird, you know? Just because some things are so basic, but our education system or our teachers or some people just really neglect to drill in that understanding. And I don't know, maybe we'll see that change in the future. Maybe we'll focus more on teaching critical thinking and problem solving skills. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let us know what you think about PEMDAS. Do you like it? Do you not like it? What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? I'd love to see what you guys have to say about it. But with that being said, we'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.